So now that I've finished summarizing and doing the deep dive about Wendy Adelson's book, This Is Our Story, the one that was mentioned several times during the trial of Charlie Adelson, and the one that Donna and Charlie were talking about during their jail phone calls, we see that there's a lot more to this book than just how it was used as a way to say the family didn't like Tallahassee. So what can we learn about the character of Lily? And Wendy Adelson did say on the stand that that character of Lily was based on somebody that she knew. And I think she put some of her own experiences in there because she wanted to put a spotlight on the issues of trafficking in the Panhandle area, things that she'd come across when she was doing this kind of work. So we see from the character of Lily, or Liliana in the book, that that character has a budding identity, like she's found a purpose in doing this work, and it's new to her. So it's something that she's lost sight of, wanting to do some kind of human rights work, or in this case she's working with victims of trafficking, but she's found purpose in it. And we see that the actual character not only finds purpose in it, she finds everything in it. So out of that come relationships, out of that come her actual child. So she finds herself and gives birth to herself and then becomes a mother. I could say that that's something that's going on as a subcontext in that story. So if we look now, take away the fiction of the story and look at the author and what we know about her life and her life with her real life husband, Dan Markel, she did have that drive to do that kind of work, but the work ended up being dependent on Dan because she really needed to be connected to the university, because eventually she was sharing her passion for immigration and asylum work with students as a clinical professor. And doing that kind of work, it would make sense that the people that she would gravitate to would be other people who work with marginalized people. So those probably would have been social workers such as Jane and Jeff, and those people would have kind of gotten that idea of working with people who are in really, bad situations. So you could see where she would have initially found more connection with somebody like Jeff as she changed what she was looking to do with her life than she would have with Dan's. And Dan was becoming more and more involved as a professor, as an academic, as somebody who had a passion for what he was teaching about the criminal law and the justice system, and somebody who wanted to connect with other people who had similar concerns and interests. So you see that there would have been more of a disconnect between the two. And then add children to that mix, and now children would have made Wendy's work less possible. So without childcare, she couldn't have committed herself to her new career and to her students and to doing immigration and asylum law. And with Dan traveling, he wasn't watching the children, so who became more and more involved was Donna and Harvey, who became the people who made it possible for their daughter to pursue her career. So once they were involved, once they were watching these children, once they were watching their daughter struggle to have childcare and pursue a career, And when they saw that that whole career was dependent on Dan Markel and that the funding was tentative, if she lost the funding for that job, or if she fought with Dan and she divorced, she might not have that security. So you could see this invitation into her parents getting involved with the child care, her needing them, introduced them into her life. So they would have seen her problems up close. And to them, the answer was, come down to South Florida. From Wendy's perspective, it would have been possible for her perhaps to continue to do the work that she wanted to do. And you can see that even though there was pressure on her to do other kinds of work, I think it was personal injury or something like that, she still stuck with, drawing attention to human trafficking, to even when she clerked for the judge, she was working in immigration. And I think that this is something that seems like a big loss to her. And the book may have been a way for her to be at home with her children while still immersed in these issues and making people aware of them. And I would not be surprised if part of her move to Austin, Texas, allegedly, maybe that she can take on a new name and maybe that she can continue to do that immigration work. And if there is any stress or fear due to the arrests within her family, perhaps doing work that is for others would be a way of assuaging some of that guilt or fear. Also, Texas would provide a new place for her children to go to school, and perhaps there are other people to support her children there, where she would be out of the community in South Florida, the South Beach community, from where her mother was taken and sent up to Tallahassee to the prison. So then again, maybe not. And we don't know what will be happening next in the trial of Donna Adelson. We do not know what will happen with regard to Wendy Adelson in the future. But these are just some thoughts, and they come from reading about how she was developing as a young woman in a failing marriage with a budding career. Then again, maybe not. Celebrate uncertainty.